Alright, Paul here. Today I'm going to do something a little different, and hopefully this might start something new for me, but I'm going to do a bow review. I was asked to do a bow review by Mr. Bob Sarrels from Sarrels Archery of traditional bows. And I've done kind of small little bow reviews in the past of stuff that I own, but he asked me to do one of his Blue Ridge bow. And so I'm going to do one today for him. And starting out, I'm going to read you the woods and what's in it. Okay, this is a Bacote and Nara wood riser with Massac inlays, and the veneers are dry quilted maple with action bamboo and stable core inside. I did a real cool unboxing video, but I was shining my address to the world, so I've already opened the bow, so I've just got it laid out here as it came. And I'll show you that. So first we'll look at the riser. So this is what he calls his SR model, which is the short riser, and the riser itself is going to be 15 inches. Pretty sure that was 15. Yep, looked to be 15 inches. The handle on such a small riser is surprisingly, I like that. How that handle is, it's a small grip, but it's locator style, and it does fit nice into my small hand, so I do like that. Has good laminates in it, good detail, I like that. And the limbs, if you can see that on the inside with that stable core with bamboo, and check these tips out. That is the coolest tip. He didn't put in here what the tip was. Let me see if I can find in the messages what he said it was. I asked him before. It's Kirinite, if I'm saying that correctly. It's Kirinite, but it almost kind of makes you think of like an ivory or a pearl type inlay. It's really pretty. Come with a nice Flemish twist string, which looks like either yarn or small yarn or wool puffs, and so that's what I got in the package. Come in a nice bow sock. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to draw for you. I'm going to draw it a few times, check out the draw cycle, see how it feels, that kind of thing. So I'll just go ahead and put it together on camera for you. Bottom limb. We'll go over the fit and finish, what it feels like, and all that. The fit and finish so far, from what I can tell, just by checking over it, I mean, it's really nicely made. There's no real hard, sharp edges. The tips, as you can tell, they have a really good radius, and they're blended in really well with the veneers. Same goes for the ends of the limbs. I mean, it's got some good work in it. It's not just a run-of-the-mill bow. Mr. Bob knows what he's doing. I love my long bows, so put this top limb on. The limb pockets, without even having a bolt in there, you can see that is very flush finish. There's no gapping. Just kind of off the cuff of what I can see. It's being my first bow review. It might sound a little unorthodox because it is. Just snugging them, not real tight. See a little separation in the limb pocket there, or not really limb pocket, but the diversity between the limb and the riser, which I'm assuming is supposed to be like that because it's even both top and bottom like that. So I'll put the string on. We'll go ahead and string her up, get the profile. Normally for my bows I don't use a stringer, but since this is someone else's and I'm doing a review and everybody else is going to say I'm crazy for not using a stringer, always use a stringer. Most bowyers will not warranty bows if you don't, so it's always best to do it. But long bows I normally just use the push-pull method. Alright, current brace is set around 6 5/8. Let me take a look. Alright, so I'm going to have to go ahead. I'm going to have to bump this brace up. Recommended brace height for this model is 7.5 to 8. Let's see what this gets us. All right. Okay, we're at the 7.5 mark on brace height. Always just sight down the limb, put the string in the middle of the riser, and just to check the limb straightness, just by eyeball. In no way is this scientific. String seems to be tracking right down the limbs as they should. Turn my hat back around, backwards a little bit. This particular model is 45 at 28. You can see that. So I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna go get some arrows. I'm gonna shoot this bad boy. Okay, doing this bow review for Mr. Bob Sarrels from Sarrels Archery of traditional bows. Now, I've got the bow put together, and this is the Blue Ridge model. It's a 60-inch bow. Alright. It's a 3-piece takedown. It has really nice laminations in it with detail. Kind of reminds me of how like Blacktail does some of their bows. Really pretty. The lines and the fit between the riser and limb are really nice. The only gapping I see is right there at the riser and limb, but it's equal to both sides, so I'm taking it to how he does some tillering. I didn't ask, I just noticed that as we put the bow together, so this is going to be an upfront, honest review of what the bow is. He just asked me to do it, so this is my first bow review, a legitimate bow review. That's a bow not my own, but it's got the Cody quilted maple veneers on the limbs, and gnarl wood, Bacodian gnarl wood in the riser. Check these limb tips out. Some of the prettiest limb tips I've ever seen. And it's got staby core and bamboo in the limbs. Got an old Flemish twist with some quilted puffs on it. First impressions, this is his SR model, so it's a short riser. This one's 45 at 28. First impressions, it feels more kind of like a striker sport or a striker classic size. The handle, however, feels it's made better as far as the way it fits the hand over the strikers. So it kind of reminds me of that. I had a lot of strikers. I loved all of them, but the size of the riser and the feel of the riser remind me of that. I've got a small hand, so it doesn't feel bad in my hand. A bigger handed person, maybe, because I can wrap and touch fingers, which that doesn't happen a lot with me with bows. So a person with bigger hands may need to have a little bit bigger palm swell, thickness in the riser, but for me it's very comfortable. The lines and the fit and finish on here, as I'm looking really close at it, I don't see anything out of place. It has some really good characteristics. I don't know if you can really see it in the handle itself, but it has a few little where it looks like maybe a little bit of pitting, but natural pitting with the grains of the wood, and I like that. I really do. It's kind of characteristic to each of its own. You know, each riser will have that own characteristic, and I just like it. I really do. I don't like a solid smooth with no kind of character to the look of the wood. But fit and finish is great, man. I like it. Them tips, I've never seen limb tips like that before. Those are really cool. I can't remember what he said it was because he didn't have it in the description. Got my arrows falling all out here. I was gonna shoot some wood arrows off of it, but the knot clip wasn't great, so I don't want to dry fire the bow. I do, however, have some 500 spines, gold tip limbs, 145 grain points, or about 460 some grain arrow that I'm going to shoot off of here for you, just so you can get an idea of the sound, what it looks like, the profile of it and whatnot. So the tiller of the bow, it does look like it has pretty good. He said he had intermediate tiller, so it's an even tiller. But the brace height recommendation for these model is 7.5 to 8, and I have it set at 7.5. So I'm going to shoot a couple at 7.5. I'm going to de-string it. I'm going to turn it up a few more turns, and we're going to see if there's any difference in it. I shot a couple arrows off of it prior, just so I kind of know where I'm hitting with it, so I didn't look like a goof on camera. It had a good feel. Little to no hand shock and vibration at and after the shot. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot some from you from the back so you get an idea what this looks like. And here we go. Shots are going to be about 18 yards, and you can see that. I'm not really trying to go for a particular group. I'm just doing good, clean shots for you because I have not tuned this bow to these arrows. These are just some I had that I threw together for the review. It has a really nice feel at the shot. It's not real vibrating like some long bows can be. It's not got a lot of hand shock at all. It's really nice. It's got a really good feel to it. We'll pause this, go down and get my arrows, and I'll turn you around and give you a back profile view of the bow and me shooting it. Be right back. Alright, I did a little knock adjustment on here. The knock was kind of low. I had a huge gap. So shoot for the center of the bag. I don't know if you can see that or not. But this is more or less to showcase the bow. The sound of it, the profile of it. Quiet. This first thing I noticed, this is a really quiet bow. I'm only shooting 400 and I think it's 65. It's the same arrows I shot at Trad Worlds for Trad Hunter. I think they're 459 or 469. So really light arrow. And in no way is it exactly tuned for this setup, and it's still quiet and still shooting them down the middle. It's a nice shooting bow, guys. I'll go down and pull my arrows and I'll do another view of the shot. All right. Give you a frontal view. There's something about a good longbow and what it feels like when you let go, especially when you do a really good shot. You know it's going where you put it at, or where you were looking at. Turn you down there so you can see. And it's just throwing a couple airs down there from what I had in the house. And no way is it tuned great, but it's 2 airs down there just a slapping. And I'm telling you what, this is a good looking bow. When you get them airs, I'll shoot a little bit more for you. Speed feels pretty good on here. I don't have a chronograph, but these are getting there pretty good. I've got the knot kite set at right at 3/4 right now, and I still got at 20 yards. I still got about a 12 to 16 inch gap. I wish my wood arrows would knock up. Shot one off of it and it flew really good. I'll take that for a untuned longbow. About a 3-inch group down there, shooting at that morel deer up top. Let me go grab my arrows. I'll be right back. Alright, I decided to bump the brace height up to right at 8, since it's a 7.5 to 8 inch brace height, just to see if there's any difference in sound or shootability. So I'm gonna do another 3 arrows for you. Eight inches might be the ticket, or right at 8. I got it set about 8 or 7 and 5/8 to 3/4, right in between that. I'll shaft my arrows down there. That right there got them a little tighter right there. Just a little brace height adjustment. That's the ticket right there for these arrows right there. Alright, I'm gonna go get my arrows and I'll come back with some final thoughts. Alright guys, I'm back. And I want to get some final thoughts of what I think about Mr. Bob's bow. Now, on purpose, I didn't ask what these bows run price-wise. I didn't go on the website and look. I don't even know if the website has pricing, because I wanted to give a review based on my honest opinion of what a bow, what the bow felt like, shot like, and the overall fit and finish, without having a price in mind, because a lot of times that will deter people from buying something or even looking at something because the price tag. His bows might be drastically overpriced, they might be drastically underpriced, I don't know. But my honest opinion of Mr. Bob's bow is, if I had to scale the bow on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 8. The only things that I feel that could change, even for my small hounds, I would like a little bit bigger handle, a little bit wider handle along the back edge here. How the radius, its radius down like that, I like. And this is just a personal preference for me, and as a competitor, a more flat handle in the back leads to more consistency for me overall. But that in no way impedes the bow's shootability or the way it shoots. I was down there slapping shafts just as well as if the handle was the way I wanted it. The bow is very shootable just like it is. The look and overall fit and finish, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 10. I didn't find a single flaw in the bow. All the lines were very nice put together, and they flowed into each other really nice. There was no gaps, there was no in the limb tips. They flowed into the veneers really nice, and there was no like hard edges or corners that wasn't rounded off and smooth. It had some nice natural light pitting in the riser, which I love. Gives it a real good character. The string could be a little better. I had to really twist this thing up, and it's kind of hard to tell. Normally, you know, you want a certain amount of twist in a string to get you to that brace, and it looks like the string, it might just have been a string you had laying around, but the string seems to be really twisted up to get to that almost 8-inch brace height. But it could just be an old string, I don't know, but it didn't impede the bow's shootability at all. It's just something I seen that I would change. Other than that, the bow lines, like I said, went together really well. There's no separation anywhere at the limb. It's very flush all the way up and down on both sides. you can hardly catch it with your nail. That's put together and that's machined very good for a hand sanded, a hand custom bow. It's hard to do that, and I believe Bob told me he's been a bowyer for 22 years, so I hoped he would have it down by then, and he does. So if it was me and I was out looking for a longbow, I would definitely give Sarrels Archery a look. He's got it together. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to shoot a little bit more before I have to send it back and see what I can do with it. But this is Paul Helms. First bow review. Share it, get it out there, get Bob out there. He deserves a look when you're looking for a purchase of a good short hunting longbow. This thing would be killer in a tree, especially a running gun public land like we do. As lightweight as it is, you wouldn't even know you had it. So I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all shoot straight. God bless.